Hello and welcome to another edition of My Favourite Board Games, the show in which we discuss my favourite board games. It's a very simple format. Today, we are talking about Mafia de Cuba, possibly the only social deduction game I will bother to play anymore. Why do you say that, Johnny? Well, it's very simple. There was a time when my friends, with whom I habitually play board games, got mega into social deduction games, particularly Avalon, which is like the medieval version of the Resistance, if you've played that one. It shares elements with Werewolf, in which there is a party of good people, and among them there are traitors or bad people. And then over a series of rounds, you send people out on missions, you choose who's going on the mission, and you don't know whether you can trust people or not, yada yada yada. We played those games so much that we broke them, because we all knew each other so well anyway, but by the end of it we all knew each other's tells so well that the game either became super straightforward and we knew exactly who it was, or the people who were playing against the rest of the group managed to lie so convincingly that it was actually slightly manipulative. Like, we started bringing in stuff from outside the game into the group, and it just, you know what, it just stopped being that much fun. But Mafia de Cuba is one of the most riotous social deduction games I have ever played, and also it is a game that is brilliant for groups. It plays up to 12 players, and you can't play it with fewer than 6. So generally speaking, if you're in a big sort of group environment, if I'm going somewhere, I'm pulling out board games, I'm like, well, this plays this many, this plays this many. Above a certain level, you really struggle to find games that are engaging and quick enough and can support the numbers you might need. Mafia de Cuba is absolutely the one, as far as I'm concerned, for those situations. So, what is it? Well, the idea is, in Mafia de Cuba, it's December 29th, 1955, in Havana, Cuba. And at the end of a meal offered to his loyal henchman, Don Alessandro mentions current affairs when suddenly the phone in the restaurant's back room rings out. The Godfather is summoned to President Batista's office and hands his precious cigar box to his minions. It has the cigar box, though, as all of the minions know. This is the cigar box. Delicious, lovely Cuban cigars. Has a false bottom. And everyone in the room knows this. So, while the Don Alessandro, or the mafia boss, leaves the room, or just looks away really, or watches, whatever, hands a cigar box to the henchman to their left, and it goes around the room, and everybody takes something. It's in the rules that you have to take something. Once the box has gone all the way around, the Don looks inside of it, and, funnily enough, oh no, my diamonds have gone. Some people in this room are traitors. There are thieves among us, and it is the Don's job to find out who, by asking questions of all of the people around the table, saying things like, what was in the box when it came to you? What did you take? How many diamonds were in the box when it came to you? How many when it left you? You can ask pretty much anything, and they can either tell you the truth or they can lie. So, the Don is basically trying to piece together what happened as this box went round the room, because only the Don and the first person who received the box will know exactly how many diamonds were in the box at the start. So you might say to somebody, how many diamonds were in the box when it came to you? And they might say 12. Now, you might know that you'd only put 8 in there at the start of the game, at which point you realise they are lying, and they are almost certainly a thief. If you think someone is a thief, you point to them and you say, turn out your pockets. And if they've got diamonds, well done. You recover those diamonds, that person is out of the game and can't talk, and you continue to try and find the other thieves. But of course, by saying that there are thieves, I'm implying around the table that there aren't thieves, and that the Godfather can be wrong, and that is absolutely true, which is where these little things come in, these little poker chips. Depending on the number of players, there'll be a different number of these in the box as it goes round, but they each give you a roll. So instead of choosing to take diamonds and try and win as a thief from the Don, you can instead align yourself with the Don, align yourself with a random person around the table, or try and basically hoodwink the Don into thinking you are a thief because it's all a bust. So you've got the loyal henchman or henchperson chip here, which the camera is struggling to focus on with the light levels. There we go. They are a loyal soldier. They want to help the Godfather, because if the Godfather gets all the diamonds back and wins, so do they. So one of the most common questions that the Don asks after opening the box is, where are my henchmen? And people will say, it's me. Inevitably, someone who is a thief will be like, it's me as well, which leads to a lot of, counter-accusation and stuff like that. But generally speaking, finding out who your henchmen are, as long as you feel you can trust them, is a good way to start closing the net. The driver is a bit of a wild card, because when you take the driver chip, you basically are saddling your horse to the person on your right. So the box is going to come round, someone's going to take something from the box, because you have to take something from the box, and then if you take the driver chip, you're saying whatever they are doing, you want that outcome. So if they're a thief, you want to help the thieves. If they're a henchman, you want to help the henchmen. But of course, you have to believe that the person to your right is telling you the truth. Or, indeed, if you're sat there and somebody says to you, I'm the driver, what did you take? You have to believe that they are the driver, because more than once I've had someone say, well, actually, I love doing it. I'm the driver. What did you do? They say, I took diamonds. And then the Don says, I'm the Don. Where are my henchmen? I'm like, me, boss, but I told this person that I was the driver and they took diamonds. It's a bit of a cutthroat game, like all social deduction games are, but it's quick enough and it's silly enough, which I'll get onto in a minute, to keep it lighthearted and fun, because it's a silly game. Like, ooh, some of us are thieves. Like, ooh, can we make it? There are more teams than horrible traitors and valiant people who want to vote the missions the right way. But anyway, more chips. This is the FBI agent chip. This person is deep undercover. Actually, that's the CIA one. I'm sorry. This is the FBI one. They have subtly different designs, but their job as an undercover agent is to be accused by the Godfather of being a diamond thief. They want the Don to say, turn out your pockets, at which point they say, this is a raid, and the game is over, and the CIA or FBI agent wins alone. And finally, there is the cleaner, who is basically, they win if they manage to eliminate an FBI or CIA agent. I've actually never played with the cleaner chip before. But yeah, so it sounds a bit more complicated than it really is. The box comes round. You either take diamonds or you take a chip. Or if you're toward the end of the game, if you can't take anything, you have to pretend to take something, and you are a street urchin working with the thieves. Because the only one thief really will win, and that is the person with more diamonds than any other thief. But it's actually a pretty straightforward game. The game goes round, you take something, and you just memorize your role, and you start seeding information out and answering questions in such a way to make it more likely for your side to win and eliminate the possibility that the Don is going to say, turn out your pockets, because I think you're a thief. And genuinely, I've been playing this game for God knows how many years now, and it is never not funny. Like, my favourite bit of every single game is when it goes round and the Don opens the box and just goes... Because even though they know that everything's going to be gone, when you are the Don and you see it, you're still just like, ugh. And it's a real uphill climb, because, again, depending on the player numbers, you may only get one chance to be wrong. If you say turn out your pockets and someone was a henchman, the game's over. At larger player numbers, you have what are called jokers, which you can give to people to say, like, here's a present, I'm sorry, I accused you. And you get to carry on the game. But generally speaking, as the Don, you really have to be sure before you tell somebody that you suspect them and that they need to turn their pockets out. And it's just very, very funny. Like, it's just the right level of social deduction game. Because if somebody gets caught with diamonds, they're like, no, okay, well, I only took 2, I should have taken more. La 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 la. Or one of my friends, it's an incredible power move. He manages to take every single diamond in the box and still win. But it's amazing because that's so audacious. And also, if the person to your right says there were 12 diamonds when it came to me, and then that person says, well, there were no diamonds when it came to me, you're in a bit of a bind, because of the implication is that all of the diamonds went missing from that person to that person. And if you're the only one between them, you're going to be suspected. But if you can somehow manage to twist that and be like, that's nonsense. There were 10 diamonds when it... No, that would be bad if you said there were 10 diamonds when it came to me, so they're lying. It's basically, you have to think on your feet. You have to be a creative liar. But it's never too serious. No one is ever saying something like, no, listen, because, I didn't take diamonds because, look at James over there. James always does this when James is lying, etc., etc. Basically, the game is light enough and fast-paced enough and silly enough in its premise that you just never really get down to those levels of misdirection in social deduction games that can start turning nasty and sapping the fun for other people. The theming is great. The fact that the game box is the entire game, like it's the whole board, and just like the assets are just nice enough. Like these are like clay poker chips. They got a bit of weight to them, and the diamonds are really fun. The theme really hangs it together, and obviously it also leans to people kind of hamming it up a bit, like doing bad Marlon Brando impressions and stuff like that, and being like, I can't believe this has happened to me. It's a wonderful farce that, it's just a good fun puzzle. And like the worst outcome is that you'll feel a bit silly if you're like, I think it's you, and they're the FBI agent. You're like, oh god, I really screwed that one up. Like, he. Okay, everything back in the box. Let's do it again. Who wants to be the Godfather now? It's an absolute bloody delight. And it's a really easy teach, to be honest. I carry this game around with me quite a lot, hoping to find the right moment that you just say, look, does anyone want to play Mafia de Cuba? And generally speaking, when I've taught it to somebody and they're there later on, they'll be like, yes, let's get this done. It's a really lovely, fun, silly game, and it's pretty much the only social deduction game I am interested in playing these days. And that's kind of it with Mafia de Cuba. It's bloody delightful. There is an expansion that's all about revolution, and I think it introduces a third kind of faction. But to be honest with you, it's one of those games where the base game is so good, I've never really felt tempted to jump in and try it. But maybe you have. Have you played the expansion of Mafia de Cuba? Please let me know if it's any good, because, I'll pick it up one day, maybe. But that kind of does it for this episode of My Favourite War Games. I want to thank you very much for watching. There's loads of other stuff on the channel. Obviously, you should know by now that my Patreon is patreon.com/JohnnyChiodini. That's you should know by now, as in, like, I go on about it a lot, not like I expect you to know these things, but there it is. Anyway, so check that out. Like, subscribe, leave a comment on the way out if you could, because it really helps with YouTube's algorithm and means that I don't have to worry about keeping a roof over my head, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, thanks so very much for watching. If you have any memories of Mafia de Cuba, please share them in the comments, because I bloody love this game. And I will see you very soon. So thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day.